Category 1 research questions all have the same thing in common, and that is they attempt to explain, to describe and to explore practice rather than changing practice, which is characteristic of Category 2 questions. So what we can see here along this bottom axis is the type of context in which you might be working. So for example, if you're in a school where iPad is new or has only recently been introduced, we call that innovative at the left-hand scale. And if you're in a school where iPad has been used for some time and is embedded, that would appear on the right-hand side of this continuum. Now against this, we can also look at the amount of resource that is available to you as a researcher or as an organisation. So for example, at the bottom of this vertical axis, it might be that you're a classroom teacher, there's just you. And at the top, it may be that you have external help from an organisation such as a university, in which case the amount of resource and time that you have available is considerably greater. So this is one way in which we can think about these types of research questions, and the first of these, right at the left-hand side and the bottom, is the exploratory question. And typically these are questions that you might set about answering or attempting to answer when you've just introduced iPad. So it's new, you're not really clear about what's going on, and you're trying to find an idea of how students are using the device, what's happening in classroom. So these are typical questions that we would describe as exploratory. The next category, which is a step further, is descriptive. And these questions are typically used when the use of a technology like iPad has been more embedded but is not yet considered to be entirely embedded. So here you're beginning to move away from simply looking at the how questions, and you're beginning to ask more complex questions. What features, for example, of mobile learning are teachers exploiting most effectively? That's a different question to the early questions such as what is happening in my classroom. The first question was trying to describe, the original question was trying to simply explore. And then finally, the third category and the most complex category is the explanatory research type question. And this is often asked when an innovation like iPad is well established, it's been used for a number of years, you've already got a feeling for what students are doing and even how they're doing it. But what you're really interested in now is finding out why. Why, for example, are students in one class more successful when they use iPad than students in another class? What impact does it have over a longer period of time? These are typically explanatory questions and they require more resource. So as we move up from the exploratory questions, which can be undertaken typically by a single teacher in their own classroom, we begin to need more resource, through to the point where with explanatory questions, often looking for correlations and causation, that is the relationship between different factors or variables, these often need the help of an external agent such as a university. And these are all Category 1 type research questions.